I often found myself screaming, shouting, wailing with my mouth closed. I couldn't defend myself from the offence I felt from the ignorance of my world. I fell in line. I had to conform. I felt stripped whilst dressed in uniform. I often screamed with my mouth closed.
Scene 1. Exterior. Canal. Midnight. One take. Her body chose not to fight back, but froze in fear. Darkness. No lights, no camera, no action. This time she didn't hit her mark. The camera did not work. No CCTV, no one else could see, only she.
But this is your tragedy, children of the working class. Peter is not coming back. Neither is Paul. And the birds can't navigate or return to their nests, where once we working class chicks were well fed and hymned humanity.
I'm proud to be working class. I have a brain, I speak from my mouth, I don't speak from my posteriors. Who forged your iron and steel for your weapons and arms to bear? Who trod over many a dead and mutilated man and boy to take more than their fair share? Were any of us present when the Magna Carta was signed at Runnymede? What would have been the point when none of us could write nor read?
It was good to run into you guys as well.
My name's Neil Warren and I work with Unity Arts, who are based in Hackney, who are an arts and heritage organisation, and the remit is to deliver arts, heritage projects free at the point of delivery to people who don't normally have access to museums, art galleries and very high quality arts practitioners that you would normally possibly need to pay £9,000 a year to go to art school or drama school. Welcome to Dr. Johnson's house. This evening has come out of a week that Unity Arts have delivered called Hackney Dissent. So we've done loads of workshops in Hoxton Hall with people from like 17 to 14. And Joelle Taylor has led some poetry workshops.
My name is Joelle Taylor and I'm a poet, spoken word artist, playwright, novelist. And I got involved with Unity Arts a couple of years ago. Neil Warren, who's one of the directors, saw me doing a performance and invited me to come and run some workshops for a play she was doing, and then eventually to ask me to come onto this project to kind of help to look at dissent and look at political poetry and how poetry can be used as part of a kind of sense of uprising or a sense of owning ourselves or challenging dominant ideologies.
You are a lion, you are a stallion, you are growing horns on your head to pierce through the boxes they put you in. You are a unicorn, you are a myth, you are the reason that life should be celebrated. You are a gift, you have to show them that they cannot disbelieve or not accept you, for you are here and you matter and you exist.
This project, of which this evening forms a part, is called the Blue Circle of Dissent, and we're spending 2 years to research the legacy of Mary Wollstonecraft, Elizabeth Montagu and the Blue Stocking Society. And the reason we're here tonight in Dr. Johnson's house is Dr. Johnson was a member of the Blue Stocking Society, and he also inspired Mary Wollstonecraft.
We came here on Wednesday to visit Dr. Johnson's house, and it's really funny because I've lived in London all my life and I didn't even know it existed, and it is a real jewel. And I'd like to say thanks to the people who ran the place, because they were really welcoming, and they were really informal, and they gave a lovely talk, and I took the idea.
It's important. Actually, predominantly our workshop membership were from backgrounds that don't normally have access to places like Dr. Johnson's house. They've been very welcoming here, actually.
I will tell you a little bit about myself. I grew up in a crime family, went to prison. I was in prison for handling £6 million worth of art. Before I went to prison, I knew nothing about art. Art was always something that never put food on the table, never paid the bills, and to where I come from, which is a working class background, it didn't mean anything. It was only after I went into prison that I started looking up artists and writers and stuff like that, and I saw a play that was brought into Wandsworth Prison by the Royal Court Theatre, and it was written by Simon Stevens, quite a well-known writer. And I went up to him after and said, I've written a play. And he said, really? I went, yeah. I hadn't really written one, but I just told him I did. And he said, great, send it to me. So I went back to my cell and I wrote 4 pages with biro, and my cellmate jumped off the bed and he said, what are you doing? He said, I'm writing a play. He went, what are you talking about, mate? And I said, I'm writing a play. I'm going to write a play. He said, you're a gangster from Cricklewood, mate. He said, who's going to go and see any play of yours? I said, well, I'm interested in having a go. Then the next night he went, right, it's a part then. We had to have a cell, which we did. And then he came out and he started writing plays as well. So it was and I sent it to this competition and it won. And they put the play on, Royal Court come and put the play on, sorry, Royal Court come and put the play on in Wandsworth Prison in front of 200 inmates. And I haven't looked back since. This is what I've been doing ever since. I left prison. I went into prison with no qualifications, and I came out with 3 National Union of Journalism Awards, an A-level in art, and a B.Tech in radio production. Don't ever dare call me the underbelly of society. That's the label you invented. Yours, not mine. Why didn't you try sticking it with the Sunday?
Yeah, my name's Anthony No Filter, and one of the pieces I performed this evening was called Unicorn, and it's about coming to terms with my identity in my community. So I come from the Caribbean, British Black Caribbean community, and I'm also part of the LGBT community, and a lot of the time growing up I found that they clashed. I couldn't really identify with both at the same time. I do it because some won't allow it, and that's fuckery. I do it because some still don't understand. I do it because if you hate me, goddamn, I will teach you to love me, because I am a unicorn. I am a myth. I am the reason that life should be celebrated. I am a gift. I will prove that you cannot disbelieve or not accept me, for I am here, I matter, and I exist. And I will scream with every voice of every brave being who died giving birth to my pride, because I often had to scream with my mouth closed. How disrespectful of me. As I got older, as I found my voice, I started to dissent, which is what the workshop was about. And it's basically me just taking a stand and saying, Joelle, I'm a unicorn, I'm a myth, I will teach you to accept me.
I met Joelle 2 years ago, and she did some spoken word poetry, and she just blew me away. And then we worked together about 1 year ago on a project, and so I took part in the workshops. Couldn't take part of all of them. I really respect poets. It comes from somewhere that playwriting doesn't come. It makes you feel all kind of scratchy and weird, and you have to be really brave and courageous, and to actually then get up and do it to all these eyes is really something else.
And then a few months ago, about 6 months ago, Lil contacted me again and asked if I'd run these particular workshops for Unity Arts, which have been thrilling to run, because it's not often I get to work with beginners in spoken word and poetry, but who are such great performers already. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is, you know, writing is an act of courage, and I believe we had a room full of very courageous people during the sessions. And what you just saw upstairs now in the performance, I always say that's like an act of war or an act of resistance. So you start with your act of courage, and then you have to take that even further and take it up onto a stage and try to make what you've said connect with people.
Without me, you wouldn't know bravery.
Yeah.
Without you, I wouldn't know resistance. Without us, there is no poetry.
So I'm Rachel. I'm an actress and theatre maker, and I've only recently started writing poetry, so this seemed like a really exciting opportunity
for me to do this in such a great venue as Dr. Johnson's house as well. I'm very interested in history and all the different protests that has gone on throughout history that I know about, and was very eager to learn more and to learn some techniques from Joelle Taylor, who has been very helpful throughout the process. So tonight I'm here to read my own poetry for the first time, which is very nerve-wracking for me, but really exciting. I'm really excited to see where it leads in the future. I've wrote some of my own monologues and bits of plays, but this feels very different because it's so personal to me, and feels more vulnerable and open. A mighty monologue is about to be unleashed, packing a powerful punch she never knew she had. The bravest, most fearful role she took on would always be a secret one.
Ready when you're ready in your own time.
Okay, mate. Urban bird's eye view of the children of the Grenfell Tower and the 4 million children living in poverty in our England. Guided into Let the Shepherd Lead the Sheep nursery school, learning through growing fingers, the innocent children of the working class are taught the nursery rhyme, 2 little dicky birds. They sing, 2 little dicky birds sitting on the wall, one named Peter, one named Paul. Fly away, Peter, fly away, Paul. Come back, Peter, come back. But this is your tragedy, children of the working class. Peter is not coming back. Neither is Paul. That conflagration has eclipsed the stars, and the birds can't navigate a return to their nest, where once we working class chicks were well fed and hymned humanity. The songbird children of the working class are caged by government doing in factory farm buildings, criminally clad.